Hey everyone, welcome back. For those of you who might have noticed, last week's blog did not have a vlog that went with it, and that is because the subject of the blog was the importance of you time or me time, the importance of taking time for yourself. And that's actually what I needed to do last week. So I decided to not make a video, but I decided to make the blog to share what I was doing to help me take that me time and reflect and have all the positive things that go with it. For those of you who might have been in the same situation and needed some tips and tricks yourself. This week's topic, however, is a bit of a sensitive subject. I know I personally struggled with being open with it for a long time, but I wanted to make this video to help those who are like me going through this experience, as well as also help others who aren't going through the experience somewhat understand better those who are going through the experience and maybe help them learn to be more supportive or encouraging or even just gentle in their approach. So the topic is 3 things to remember when you are on your parenthood journey. And everyone's parenthood journey is different. Some people are parents right now currently. Some people are soon to be parents. Some people have decided that they want to be a parent and have started trying to conceive. No matter what it is or what your parenthood journey looks like, it is or can be a sensitive topic for some, especially those who are like me who might be struggling to conceive and start that family that they've always wanted to do. And so when it gets a little rough with the struggle, I try to remember these 3 things. And like I said, I wanted to share it to hopefully help those who are going through it remember these themselves. And also those who aren't going through it, remember to practice these or remember these when it comes to dealing with someone going through this experience. So the first one is expectations. And there's always going to be expectations on a parenthood journey, which are typical and completely normal, from name planning to nursery planning to doctor's appointments to what type of school you're going to do, if a parent's going to stay home, this and that. And like I said, totally normal, totally natural. But there are also expectations that we can put on ourselves and others can put on us as well that maybe aren't so healthy when it comes to starting a family. Like a due date for one. Well, not necessarily a due date, but a conception date, I should say. Especially for those who might have shared the news that they are wanting to start a family with some trusted loved ones. It could get to a point where those loved ones can then expect you to become pregnant, which, you can even expect on yourself, if people become pregnant by accident, then how can it be so hard to get pregnant on purpose? But the expectations can somewhat be unhealthy for us because, like I said, everyone's parenthood journey is different, and some might be trying longer, some might need medical help, which also requires the financial aspect of it, and the timing can be different for everyone. So that's important to remember, and bring ourselves back to the normal healthy expectations like name planning and stuff like that, and try and just focus on those and not focus on the certain tidbits that we don't actually have control over. And the second one is somewhat tied in with this, is comments. We can tell ourselves negative comments in our heads, and we can also hear comments from others that aren't necessarily negative, but they can feel a negative way when we hear them from others. Like, I personally have heard comments from my trusted loved ones that, I've told I'm starting my parenthood journey. My husband and I have shared the news, and, we've gotten comments like, any baby news? And when we said no, not yet, they said, oh, we'll try this and you'll get pregnant, or, oh, if you do this, you'll get pregnant faster, and just all sorts of advice. And I think the healthy thing to remember here is, although it can hurt to be the one in the position hearing someone else say, like, oh, I can't wait to be a grandma or aunt or cousin or whatever, it can feel like almost like a stab instead of like painful. Like, I know it hurt me at first because it felt like I was letting down more than myself, as odd as that sounds. Like, I felt like I could, have an effect on how these other people felt. And I know that's not true. And I think this is why it's healthy to remind ourselves when we're hearing comments or saying comments to ourselves in our heads, is that when those people are saying those comments to us, like, oh, I can't wait for this, or, oh, you should try this, their excitement in having the baby in relation to whatever they are, whether it's aunt, uncle, grandpa, whatever, they're just as excited for you to be a parent as they are for themselves to be whatever role they might be playing. Like, it is a win-win in their head, and they might not understand how painful it might be to be going through this experience. And so it's important for us to remember, the ones going through the experience, that when we hear these comments, it's not in a negative way. They are trying to support and encourage us in the way that they know how. But I also think it's important for the people not in this situation, the ones not going through this experience, to remember to try and be more supportive with comments instead of reaching, or what you think might be a positive comment might not be in someone else's eyes. So just try to remember and approach lightly if you're talking to someone who is going through this experience where they might be struggling on their parenthood journey. And then the third one, which is possibly the most important one, and my doctor has reminded me of this time and time again, is to practice patience and self-care above anything else, because certain things are out of our control. Yes, we can time our ovulation, we can try certain foods, we can do all the things that we might read or hear about that will help us on our journey or with our experience, but they're not necessarily within our control. We might need to try for longer, we might need the help of someone medically, which, like I said earlier, requires the financials. So my doctor has sat me down and reminded me of this and said, if you do make the decision to be a parent, you have to know that there are ups and downs that come with the experience, and you have to be willing and ready to face them all, and to not get down when things aren't going the way that they should be or you want them to be, and to just keep the faith that they will happen eventually if you are dedicated to having it happen. And so patience is really important there. And while you're practicing patience, the best thing you can be doing is taking care of yourself, physically and mentally. So whether that means getting in your exercise every day, your nutrition, your vitamins, practicing meditation, yoga, whatever it is that you do to take care of your body and keep it in the best condition it can be, as well as mentally. So like I said, keeping those unhealthy expectations out of your mind, not letting the comments take over in your head or in your parenthood journey, and keeping the faith, just knowing things that will work out, how they're meant to, when they're meant to, and doing the things that you can that are in your control for now. You know, stay up on your hygiene, keep reading the baby books if you want. You can be prepared in as many ways as you want to be. Just remember to not let your brain get overworked by the expectations, the comments, the stress. You know, my doctor has told me this story about how she had a patient who tried for years and years and years to get pregnant, and it just wasn't working. And so when she had finally decided to do the adoption route and finally adopted, boom, she's pregnant. So now she has 2 kids to figure out what to do with instead of the one that she was dying for. And so it's just somewhat like a catch-22. When you have so much stress and you're focusing too hard on that one specific thing, it can drive your hormones and your emotions and just your body and the way it interacts with each other into a state that is not healthy for making babies. So if you are someone who is going through this experience and you don't know where else to reach out because it feels scary or embarrassing, please reach out to me. I know personally how hard it can be to talk about going through this experience. Like I said, my husband and I told loved ones when we first started our parenthood journey what we were trying to do, and we got comments along the way, such as try this, you know, oh, don't worry about this, and all these sorts of things. But now that I've been more open and honest about where I am on my journey, not only are the comments more supportive and encouraging, like, oh, it'll happen when it happens, you know, it's okay, don't worry, but there's also less of them because I think they're being more sensitive to the fact that it is hard to deal with already. And so I think they're learning to know that when that time comes, we will most likely come to them with the biggest excitement ever. And so there's no need to keep questioning. But if it still feels too scary or embarrassing or whatever for you to reach out to anyone, please reach out to me. I'd love to point you in the direction of any resources that have helped me personally, or even just chat with you and get to know each other and relate with stories. And if you aren't someone going through this experience, I hope that this has maybe been able to help just open your eyes a little bit more about what it is like to go through this experience. And yeah, just know that your loved ones who are going through this experience do still need you there. Just try and be a little more gentle in your approach, like I said at the beginning of the video. And please feel free to share this with anyone you think it might help. That's what this community is about. We are full of parents, whether you're a parent currently, like I said, soon to be one, you have started your parenthood journey, but you are not yet pregnant yet, or just anyone in general. This is a community where we can be ourselves unapologetically, no judgment, no criticism, just support and encouragement and uplifting from each other. So thank you again for being a part of this community. Earth to Mama wouldn't be where it is without you. The world would not be where it is without you. And you have really put in some work to make yourself who you are today. So I want you to take a moment and be proud of that. And don't forget to tune in to next week's vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you then. Bye.